Good afternoon, my Pine County School District. This is your Superintendent Adam Young, and I have the great pleasure today to be joined by our girls 2A soccer champions, the captains of that team, along with their coach, and they are.
I'm Brooklyn Reed. I'm Ainsley Giles. I'm Paityn Lawrence.
And I'm Jose Martinez.
Okay, so you're in for a treat today. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your support of this amazing team as they have struggled through the year and ultimately triumphed and come out on top. So, I guess the first question is now that you all are state champions, what are you going to do?
Come to Disneyland.
Corny, but maybe true. So, I would love to hear from whoever wants to kind of uh, get the ball rolling here, haha, about what it felt like. Let's maybe start with that. What did it feel like after that super long state championship game was over, the final whistle had blown, and the Ladycats came out on top? Who wants to start with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It felt like really amazing and good because freshman year we had the chance to go into the championship game and we kind of just fumbled at the end. So it felt like amazing to actually win and be there.
Yeah. And in front of a Lyon County crowd, right? Urington was, I don't know, 40, 50 miles from Dayton. So there were a lot of visitors there. We had we had a great showing from White Pine too, but you know, I would say it was mostly kind of a unfriendly crowd, and so to do that, away from home, pretty amazing. Yeah. What else do you guys want to add?
I definitely think it was very rewarding. Like Peyton said, we worked for it freshman year and didn't quite get there, but then senior year we came back and we won, and I think everyone was just really excited and happy with the outcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially since it's like the first time in our school's history that we've even won.
Yeah. Yeah. And coach, yeah, you're an alum of the school and a former soccer player. What did it mean to you to kind of shepherd these athletes through this process?
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot just coming from me used to take on, not the same jerseys because mine's with Bobcats and there's the Lady Cats, but playing the same field and like having the same energy that I had, giving it to them to play that championship game. I think it was amazing. Not only that, but to win as a coach, it's probably the best feeling ever. And um, I couldn't make it there as a school as a high schooler, so me as a coach is it's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what a team effort. So, no team that I've ever run across goes through a season without adversity, right? I think about athletes in the weight room and how do you get stronger? It's by lifting weight that's maybe just a little bit too heavy. And sometimes you lift to failure and that builds the muscle, right? And so as you all went through this season, you kind of talked a little bit already about previous years, but what do you think are some of uh, the events, the circumstances, etc., that helped you come together as a team, the adversity that you faced maybe throughout the season that prepared you to be able to triumph a couple
Um,
weeks ago.
I think the Whittel game that we played where well we had to like stop a lot because like the thunder, but we were down 2-1, right?
Yeah.
We were down 2-1, and we had 12 minutes left to make a comeback because we didn't know if we could play the second half or not because of the lightning and stuff. So we came in and kind of got a pep talk from our coaches, and it kind of brought us all together. And we went out during those 12 minutes and scored two more goals and we won.
Yeah, yeah. What an amazing moment that was. Coach, was that pep talk suitable for our viewers? Do you want to share some of the things that you
Yeah,
might have given them?
I mean, it was pretty much just letting them know, like, we've been working hard on, the whole season, the amount of work they put in through the very beginning. So to see them kind of crumble up in a game like that where we should have been on top the whole time, it was just like, what are we doing? Like, why are we slacking? Why are we not like showing everybody what we can do? And pretty much in different words, I mean, they all came out the same way. And I mean, we had, I think, we talk to them, then they have like 5 minutes by themselves, I think, where they can just we tell them like, look, when we come back, or you guys better be hyped. So they came out of that oxygen just screaming and singing. And I was like, what is going on? And then they brought it onto the field, and we were warming up. They were singing and dancing, and pretty much showing everybody, like, yeah, we may have or may be losing, but we'll show everybody what we can do. And I think they pretty much did.
Yeah. So I have two questions in follow up for that for you three. Number one, was he that calm in that motivating speech that he just, yeah, I didn't figure. And number two, I really want to know what you all said to each other amongst yourselves after the coaches left as leaders, that are focused on leadership. What did you tell each other about, how you were going to get this done?
We kind of just told each other to keep pushing and not give up because we could still come back and at least tie the game, if not come back and win, which I think was the biggest thing. But then also, like Jose said, we were all just kind of singing and dancing and trying to have fun and lift our heads up.
Yeah, trying to like keep the motivation up, keep our energy up.
So that Whittle game, you all feel kind of built some muscle, built some resilience, and maybe prepared you a little bit for this game a couple weekends ago against Houston. So what can you say about, because I was there watching that game. You started off scoring 2 goals, and I thought, oh, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's gonna be kind of a coasty ride into the final whistle, but turns out it wasn't so much that. So what can any of you talk about kind of the emotional roller coaster that maybe you experienced throughout the second half, and then the extra periods, and then the penalty kick phase?
So after, or when they scored that first one, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, why did we let them score that? Because all they need is one more, and now it's tied. And I don't know, I just felt like frustrated, but I knew I couldn't. I'm not gonna yell at my team
Sure.
because it's just gonna make them all get mad.
Yeah.
So I was just like, it's okay, you guys, we got it. Like, don't let them score another one. I mean, they did, but not much else you can do, I guess. And I guess the extra time, that was kind of nerve wracking because it was like whoever scored first could win, and so it was like, and they were getting kind of close there towards some points. So I think that was a little nerve wracking, and then the penalties came down, and I knew we would win because our goalie was, like, she's good, so I just knew we were gonna win that. So
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of the same thing. When we were ahead, I was super excited, like, oh yeah, we got this, like, I think we can do it. And then once they were tied, I was like, oh goodness. And then we went into overtime, and I remember looking at Paityn, and I was like, okay, now we got a hard game. Could go hard. And then I think that's kind of how we all felt, like panicked, but no, we had to keep pushing. And then once we went into overtime, it was just like the penalties. We kind of just all knew we had it.
Yeah.
Because like we would get so close to scoring a goal, and then like we win, and then like they get so close to scoring a goal, and then they did. It was like up and down, up and down.
Yeah, yeah. I just loved watching you all compete. I really admired and appreciated like the tenacity and the grit of, we are not gonna let that score happen against us. We're gonna keep going in and doing whatever we can to try to be aggressive and get some points on the board. Um, Coach, what about, like, because your role obviously is different than they're out there sweating. My experience as an athlete is that when you're out there on the field or the court, the nerves kind of you don't feel the nerves quite so much because you're just so into the game and working so hard. That is not my experience as a coach. Your heart's just pounding the whole time, wondering what can I do to try to help them. And unlike in football or basketball or some of those other sports, you can't call a timeout. So
Yeah.
you're stuck there on the sideline trying to encourage them. So what was that like for you?
That was awful. But I mean, one thing I'll say is they practice hard. Like we would go times where we would just run because they would say something in practice that I would find irritating. So like I stopped saying that, and then I'll make them run for it. And I mean, we did, I think, a lot of running throughout the whole season, and I think that's what kind of helped them out a bit because I wasn't too scared of them being tired. I knew they had like a lot more on the gas. And as you saw, like every
Yeah.
single time towards that last second quarter or the last second overtime, they just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. I was like, where do you guys like have this energy from? And I mean, as that came going on, I kept getting more excited because the shots came coming in. I was like, oh, we're about to shoot. And then it was just like the feeling of understanding, as players. Well, for me, as a player, when I was told no or I did something wrong, I would quickly put my head down. So I told coaches and I told the captain, I was like, we can't do that. We can't afford that in that last game. If you do something or your teammates do something remotely good, hype them up. You can't just be like, oh, I mean, good job. They have to feel that they did something great so they can keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. And I think they did that perfectly. I think that whole game was just a lot of encouraging from every single one of them. Just keep trying to do their best no matter what happened.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, and I'm interested in hearing if any of you want to add to that, just in the sense that it's so easy to be negative or critical towards someone who might have done something wrong. Not that you want to be mean, but just that you're so frustrated in the moment and you want things done right, you know? So I'm interested in hearing what else you guys might want to add to what Coach said there.
I think I'm usually encouraging during games. I know sometimes like my face might not say it, but my words come out encouraging. I think that helps us a lot because I feel like a lot of us can get in our heads really easily.
Yeah.
So I think that helps us out a lot.
I think we also knew going into the game that whatever was said, don't take it personal because we knew the emotions were going to be high. So I think that kind of helped as a team.
And then like after the game, if you do say something, then just like go back up to them and say like I didn't mean it.
Yeah.
It was just heat of the moment.
Yeah. Well, what a tremendous accomplishment and a great legacy that you three as captains have helped create for future soccer teams, future Ladycat soccer teams, and really any athletic team at the school. I've always felt that when one team accomplishes something like this, it can inspire every other program and every other team within the school to say, "Hey, this is amazing." How can we come together? And sometimes it doesn't end with a championship, but how can we come together and unite and take some of the things that we've learned from this team and apply it into our own circumstances. So how do you guys feel, knowing that you made history, right, with this team? That is so awesome. So what does that do to you to help, I guess, maybe set the stage for future teams to represent the school in such a stellar way?
I think it shows that like we can win, like no matter how many girls you have, or I don't know, like I don't know, just like I know girls are petty, so like even like with the girls team, you can win, like it is possible, and even like you might not be friends with them outside of the sport, but on the field, you like come together, and I think that's just like nice to know that you can do that. It's not impossible.
Oh, that's powerful. You know, I think that when you say that, Peyton, it makes me think about kind of the world of work, which all of you are headed to at some point or the other. And you don't have to necessarily be best friends with someone to come together and do something that's really powerful and good. You put aside your differences, you work on a united goal, and amazing things can happen as a result of that. What else do you guys want to say?
I don't know. Just like we know how it feels now, so like
Yeah,
more people are gonna like want to push so that they know how it feels.
yeah. That is really wise, because when you've done something once, it's easier to look back and go, oh, kind of like you were talking about with the Wattel game, right? Like we did this once. We were underdogs, or maybe not underdogs, but we were behind, and we had to come out with our butts in gear to get this done. Now we know what that feels like. So good.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think they said it all pretty much. But the other thing I feel like is feel like it shows that it is possible to beat teams that you weren't sure you were able to beat. Like, we didn't play Dayton and won, but we played a good game against them, and we played a team that did beat Dayton,
Right.
and that is a team we weren't sure we were going to be able to beat.
Yeah.
But I think if we have the chance to play them again, we might be able to. And I don't know, it just showed that you can win games that you weren't sure about.
So, Coach, what else do you want to add before we wrap this up?
I don't know, just I always tell them play with what ifs. What if we don't get the best out of the game? Just they kind of been told that all year long. Well, what if, what if, what if? And I think that kind of hopefully helped them out a little bit to understand, like, what if we just start pushing a little bit more together? What if we just, start communicating as a team? Anything could help at that moment. And I think what they said is pretty spot on. It's been an amazing feeling to win, and it shows the other sports, anything can happen. And even we're a 2A team that we were stuck in a 3A league last year. Like that was our build up period. I
Yeah.
was in that 3A league, and now we're back at a 2A league, and we're showing everybody, this is what we can do, and if we can do it, so can everybody else. So hopefully everybody takes that into consideration and pushes forward and push their teams to be the best they can, and hopefully they can all feel this and we can fit in a winning state.
Yeah. Yeah, and I appreciate that, and I think what I would add to that is to say, and maybe this goes back to earlier, um, this type of work doesn't always result in the outcome that you all had this season. This time it did, but this type of work is what I think about. Like, I would always feel proud of this amount of work and this amount of camaraderie and team building and effort and whatnot, even if the outcome would have been the other way. Do you know what I mean? And I think that that's something to be proud of. Yes, you should celebrate the fact that you won. That is amazing. Also, celebrate the process, and all of the blood, sweat, and tears that you put into the season, regardless of what the outcome is. Yeah. I want you guys to know how proud I am of you. It was super awesome to be there and watch the whole thing. Coach, I appreciate you and your staff and everybody who contributed. Of course, all the players who aren't sitting here for this interview today and their families and parents as well. And just know that you've definitely made White Pine High School proud.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. See you next time.